Spring training brings in a new cast of players alongside familiar faces, and while most spots on the Yankees were locked in, others have opened up due to injuries that have occurred in the past few weeks. From finding a fifth starter to looking for infield support, plenty of players have gotten a chance to audition themselves to the Yankees as potential contributors for either this upcoming season or the next, and it's resulted in roster battles heating up with just 6 days to go until spring training kicks off in Houston. Today, we're looking at some of the top performers thus far in spring training as we pick 5 players who have boosted their stock the most and put themselves on the map ahead of the 2024 season. While the Yankees try to figure out what's going on with DJ LeMahieu and his bone bruise, Anthony Vulpi has popped up as a potential leadoff option for the team with a pretty strong spring training. The second-year shortstop is coming off of a season where he posted just an 84 WRC plus and 283 OBP across 162 games with the Bronx Bombers, profiling more like a glove-first shortstop who didn't have the hit tool to stick above the 9th spot in the order, and opposing pitchers were able to put him away with ease as they were able to throw sliders and other breaking balls to set him down. He won a Gold Glove and posted plus 16 defensive runs saved, but the bat needs improvement in order for him to become more than just a solid player at the MLB level. His biggest change has come in the form of a flatter swing that should produce more contact and give him better coverage of the strike zone, which is extremely enticing given that his biggest issue last year was the aforementioned contact rate. He's generating better contact for hits, and while I would like to see him lift the ball in the air a little more, the comfort he has with his new swing has resulted in the strikeout rates and whiff rates improving. Anthony Vulpi is whiffing just 18.2% of the time with a 17.6% strikeout rate, and we've even seen the power tick up a little bit as spring training has gone on. He's hitting over 300 with an OBP nearing 400 in the 18 games thus far, and if he can continue to improve on the offensive side of the ball, we could be looking at a potential top 10 player at the position. Again, the glove and speed are great, and we know that Anthony Vulpi can hold his own and provide value outside of his bat, but if the bat can provide about average to above average value, then we're looking at a potential 3 to 4 WAR player. Vulpi won't be seen as the leadoff hitter for the Yankees early in the season, but the hope is that he can play up to that role. Hitting for a higher average should lead to a higher OBP, and that higher OBP could be part of the development that he makes in order to get to the top of the lineup and become their permanent leadoff hitter. He's making better swing decisions, chasing just 22.5% of the time with a 64% in-zone swing rate, and I think that distribution of swing decisions will result in him laying off of more breaking balls and working more walks. The ability to get on base is extremely important, and it'll also allow him to weaponize his speed a lot more. This is a former top 15 prospect in all of baseball who has all the skills to become a great player in this league, and I believe he could have a much better sophomore season with some of the early signs we've seen in spring training. Nick Birdie came into spring training with some excitement as he was firing rocket fastballs from his arm. The right-hander has excellent stuff, throwing from a lower slot that gives his four-seamer a flat angle, allowing him to get strikeouts up in the zone. He's sitting 98 miles per hour and can rev it up to 100 miles per hour when necessary, and the arm action he has generates natural run on the pitch, making it a truly excellent offering for strikeouts and overall deception. Sure, his command isn't great, but since Birdie generates so much spin, movement, and most importantly, velocity from a slot that most pitchers don't throw at, it creates an unusual look for hitters, and they struggle to time that up or even get the barrel to the ball. His best pitch is arguably a sweeping slider, however, which he throws in the upper 80s and has even touched 90 miles per hour with, as he's averaging over 14 inches of horizontal movement to the glove side. This is one of the nastiest breaking balls I've ever seen, point blank period, and I think Birdie is a lock to make the major league team if he can remain healthy. He can be a difference maker in the bullpen, and it just comes down to how healthy he can be, as he posted a strikeout rate over 40% and a ground ball rate over 50% in his limited sample size. We'll see if Nick Birdie is the next breakout reliever for the Bronx Bombers, but in my opinion, I think they have their hands on a true difference maker. The Yankees might place Luisio on their roster as a starter or long reliever based on how good his stuff is, and the right-hander has blown away hitters all camp. He has a power fastball that can put hitters away with ease, but it's his improving secondaries that have made the arsenal that much better. Looking at the four-seamer first, it's averaging nearly 18 inches of induced vertical break at 97 miles per hour, and since he releases it from a lower release height with a flat-ish angle, it can wipe out opposing hitters regardless of the matchup. His four-seamer is better than it's ever been thanks to the excellent command he's developed, and his ability to blow hitters away with it should make him an overpowering weapon for the Yankees in any capacity. He's someone who I now anticipate to make the team after having doubts about how aggressive the Yankees would be with his usage. At this point, how could you argue that he shouldn't be on the team that heads to Houston? He has a 2.87 ERA and a 138.5 stuff plus, striking out 37.7% of batters faced with a whiff rate over 38%. Luis Seal has improved his secondaries a lot as well, with his changeup being a swing and miss machine with the ability to put left-handed hitters away, and that's something he struggled with in his major and minor league career up to this point. He's also confident throwing it to right-handed batters, so it gives another look at just a third pitch that he's desperately needed his entire professional career, as even in my write-ups for him, I've always cited the lack of a third pitch as the reason I viewed him as a reliever long-term. That narrative has shifted for good, and the Yankees are in a situation where they desperately need starting pitching depth. Heel has placed himself firmly in the competition for the 5th starter job, and even if he were to lose out on that role, he would find himself in the Yankees bullpen as a multi-inning arm and somebody they can call upon if another starter were to go down, or if they were to need a spot start. Something to watch is the classification of his slider, as he seems to be throwing a cutter and slider that's been grouped into the same pitch. It's still a working theory on my end, but we'll monitor how his slider movement profiles continue to build throughout the season. Still, the Yankees are likely to take Luis Seal with them to Houston at this point, and spring training has completely brought back the hype train we saw with Luis Seal, because back in 2021, he had fired some really excellent starts and looked like the future of the rotation. Fast forward 3 years later, and that still remains the case because spring training has boosted his stock arguably more than anybody else's on this list. I don't think you can declare a player as back because of spring training, but you can still have some positive takeaways that could indicate a bounce back season. They won't be reflected in your OPS or WRC plus in spring, but Giancarlo Stanton is certainly boasting strong numbers in both categories as well, crushing baseballs into orbit, and more importantly, cutting down the strikeouts that we've come to know him for in the process as well. The decrease in whiff rates coupled with better launch angle distribution could pay off huge dividends if he's able to see those results translate to the regular season. Stanton is slashing .317, .370, and .659 for a 1.029 OPS and 4 home runs in 14 games thus far, showing off some power that we've known him for throughout his major league career as well. The issue for Stanton last year was the inability to hit for average. His launch angle distribution was atrocious, he ranked in the 2nd percentile in sweet spot rate, and that ultimately hurt his OBP and resulted in the worst season of his career. He had a negative 0.8 F4 across 101 games with an 89 WRC+, and that's not just bad for his standards, that's bad for any player. And for the first time in his career, really, he's been a flat-out terrible player over a full season. This is a make-it-or-break-it year for the 34-year-old slugger, and if you can put together a strong rebound season, he could help the middle of the lineup and give the Yankees even more firepower on offense. All eyes are on Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. With the development of Gleyber Torres in recent years, Stanton is looking more like their 5th or 6th hitter this upcoming season. He doesn't have the pressure of hitting in the heart of the order or being the co-star for Aaron Judge, and this could give him a chance to sneak up on pitchers and do some serious damage. With Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez on the way, the Yankees have outfield talent they can turn to replace Stanton if he were to struggle once again. Time is ticking fast for the slugger, but his strong spring training should hopefully give him the confidence booster he needs to get out to a hot start and put up big numbers. He's one of the most talented hitters in the world, and while I'm skeptical of his ability to rebound because of the lack of defensive or base running value, I think the initial signs in spring training are certainly enticing, and I'm 100% rooting for him to have that bounce back year because, I mean, good lord, could you imagine Judge, Soto, and Stanton all in their prime, firing on all cylinders, crushing baseballs into orbit this summer? The Yankees could be absolutely stacked, and it might be the reason they could go out and win the World Series this year. One of the two players we mentioned is on the way for the Yankees, won't necessarily play a role in the 2024 team, but can certainly play a role in 2025 as soon as the season kicks off. The New York Yankees have one of the most exciting prospects in all of baseball in their hands in the form of Spencer Jones, who boosted his stock a ton in spring training. Entering his 2nd full season in the organization, the left-handed hitting outfielder is expected to start the season in AA with the Somerset Patriots, but we could see him in AAA in just a few months if he were to perform well enough to open the year. He's slashing .444, .556, .722 with a .242 WRC+, both showing off good contact and power tools as well. With the excellent plate discipline and contact rates, we've seen him go from not just one of the most discussed prospects in the Yankee organization, but in all of baseball. The spring breakout game also gave him a chance to shine, and he definitely stepped up to the occasion, crushing 2 home runs and showing the entire world that the potential there is absolutely tantalizing. Spencer Jones has an excellent speed tool and great defense as well at a premium position in center field, and if the Yankees can continue to develop him well, we could see a force in the middle of the Bronx Bombers lineup for years to come. The power is great. He's crushed a baseball regularly, and that's definitely a huge plus, but the one skill that he desperately needs to improve comes with his launch angle distribution. A higher percentage of fly balls and a lower percentage of ground balls could result in a greater increase in game power, and considering how hard he can consistently hit the baseball, seeing that raw power translate even more into game power could result in him living up to that unbelievable upside. It'll be a huge focus for him as he heads into Somerset to open the minor league season, and with how great of an athlete he is and the skills around his bat always providing more value than the average position player, he's slowly become one of the most exciting prospects and young players in the entire game. I believe he's on track to becoming a special ball player, and while we'll have to wait and see, I'm looking forward to seeing how he progresses through the season and enters the equation for the Yankees in the future. Is there anybody we missed that you guys would have put on this list? Let us know in the comment section below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell because you do not want to miss on what we've got cooking in the upcoming weeks. Opening day is less than a week away, and we've got all of your content for your New York Yankees right here at Fireside Yankees, and you guys can check us out on various social media platforms, whether that's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or Twitter. And you guys can also check out Fireside Bets because we're going to have some fun Major League betting content coming out there. And you guys can check out Fireside Bets on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube as well. Thank you guys so much for sticking by, and we hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.